Okay, yeah, just let me say, yeah, it's been an amazing year for Floki. I'm excited to be here for the Q&A today. Monumental year. The start of the year with this huge token burn on Floki and the huge marketing campaign, the roadmap for the year for the community, and that huge monumental, the grind for years to get to hit Binance. So I was really happy to see that because I've always been a holder of Floki and, all that hard work and the huge community you've built over the years. I mean, we do know other projects have got there very quickly, have small communities. I'd rather do the long grind for a few years and get there, the hard way rather than sort of getting lucky and jumping onto Binance. But so hats off to the core team. It must have been a champagne day there on May the 5th when you hit Binance. And I'm excited to take out some of the questions that the community is going to be asking today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Glenn, and from WhaleCoinTalk. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to have you here, and it's a pleasure to be with everybody here as well. Say about Mr. B, how are you guys doing today?
Lintern, WhaleCoinTalk. Wow, I need to brush up my English again. Hey Saber, all the Vikings, B is in here. Yeah, good to be here again. Good to have this joint AMA again. A good host. So looking forward to this.
Okay, I don't know how we're starting. I've got loads of questions from the community. Are we going into that, or can I ask a couple of questions from the core team?
WhaleCoin. Sorry, am I audible? Yeah, okay. Yeah, WhaleCoin. Sorry, I may well abbreviate you as WCT if that's okay, or WC, just to make life a bit easier.
Thank you, Saber. Saber's always coming to my rescue. WTC is a bit easier.
Yeah, don't worry. It's a tongue twister for me sometimes as well when you have to think about it. But yeah, thank you for the point you raised regarding our organic growth, shall we say, without getting too political. But yeah, we obviously we didn't have the advantage to be listed on the biggest T1 simultaneously, or within a space of a very short time, which of course would have been incredible. Probably would have tripled our ATH at the time, but yeah, nonetheless, we're doing it the proper way, which is why we're still here, and which is why we have the best community in crypto.
Awesome, guys. Well, yeah, I did have a couple of questions, and then I can go into the community questions if you like. I don't know how we're sort of laying this out, but I was wondering, since we last had you on the spaces, you've got the debit card, the virtual debit card, how it sort of works. If there's anyone listening to the spaces looking at buying Floki, we can go through maybe how that works. And in the future as well, you're going to have the physical card. Will that be used in supermarkets and the high street? Can we maybe go through how, I'm not too tech savvy as well, how I'd set up a Floki debit card?
All right, that's a perfect question for B the Viking, I believe. So let's see what response B. I believe we may be muting the chat for him to post that response now, and we would read it out loud for everybody here to read, and of course, and also explain further. So B, over to you.
He might have some connection issues. I think Twitter is spacing again, but yeah. Still mysterious B.
Yeah.
Right? Mysterious B. Nobody has heard his voice, so the anticipation rises.
And he's supposed to talk at some point in the near future, perhaps, right? So guys, keep waiting for that. That's going to happen in some time. But I'm aware I think he's caught up now. So he's going to have to. So he's going to post that response shortly, and then we will read it out there. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I've got loads of questions from the community. Do you want to jump into some questions for the core team?
No, we do have a response already from B, so I can quickly read that. So, guys, if you are within our community on Telegram, you can also pop in there and read B's response directly. So, of course, because this is a question for him, so as we know, he's not he doesn't speak, at least for now, or till sometime in the future. So he's posted a response on our main chat on Telegram, and I'm happy to quickly just read through on his behalf, if for the benefit of those who do not have access to Telegram right now, or those who don't want to pop in there right now. So it says, our host, do you want to read that for us, so we can? Do you want to do us the honors? Since it,
I can do. Whereabouts is the answer over on the Telegram? Did you say?
yeah. Yes, on Telegram. But I'm going to pass it on to you where I know you will be. So I'm going to forward it to you right now. But it's on our main Telegram right now.
Wait a minute. I just need to log into Telegram.
Robert, do you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll read it out just to make
I've got
a bit easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Would that be easy for you?
I've got it in front of me now. Yeah.
You've got it. Okay, cool. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, so B was saying we're constantly in touch with the partner organisation, developing the Floki debit card for us, and things are progressing smoothly so far. I'm not sure about the cashbacks yet. I think one of the community was asking that, elaborating on my question as well, about the cashbacks yet, as I'd rather we don't overpromise and underdeliver. But if there's enough requests for a future, then we can certainly push the organisation helping us to develop these cards to work on it. As to details of what it would look like, I can tell you this. It will be a Floki branded physical card that you can use to shop with millions of retailers from all over the world. The Floki token will be directly integrated into the card, so you should be able to seamlessly spend your Floki token in the real world using the Floki debit card. And it's based on current state of discussions in the core team. Yes, this will be going live in 223. And if this changes, they're going to be sure to communicate that to the community. But as of now, it's going to be going live in 223. So that's awesome news to hear.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that does it for that question, I believe. For all right, does that answer your question, Glenn?
It was, yeah. Thanks very much for the response from B. Right, so do you want to jump into some community questions? I think they've been sending them over the last few days, and there's lots to go into.
Absolutely. I think we can take a deep dive there.
Okay, we'll start with Saber. Floki's current marketing is more in the form of TV advertisements, sponsorship advertisements, and physical advertisements. He wants to ask, will you carry out marketing activities on new media platforms such as TikTok in the future? And that question's from Floki Jason. Must be a big fan who's got Floki in his name.
No, we're actually looking to cancel marketing moving forward. So that'll be it, basically. No, seriously. Yeah. So, I mean, look, everyone. It's no secret. Like a big part of Floki's success, stems from our sort of deep, experience and understanding of, marketing. And a fundamental point of that is being able to engage, and excite, within strict guidelines, as I've spoken about before. And often that's imposed by regions, sometimes even media platforms. So it means that we have to be, very creative, in some cases, especially. And yeah, so it's just a case of, I guess, making sure our profile fits the visibility that we're trying to achieve towards a certain, peoples, I guess. So that won't necessarily always be conventional. And, you've got to be careful with, obviously, as you see, the SEC dramas, and we've tried to be shut down in London however many times. But what I'd actually say is if some of you may remember, when we had our first run to ATH, I think around 3.5 billion, we were actually heavily involved in TikTok. So many probably forget that. I think we were probably one of the most predominant cryptocurrencies on TikTok, actually. And another example of that is our Kings League partnership. So obviously that was a superb way for us to sort of propel the brand forward, especially on Twitch as well, in particular. And again, it adds credibility and awareness with new audiences. So so marketing on crypto, like crypto on TikTok, to be honest, does come with some challenges, but it's something that we are definitely going to be focusing on moving into the as we move towards the bull market, whenever that is. So again, timing and challenges ahead, but we have the experience and we know what we need to do, and we will do it. We'll implement as we need to and execute as and when.
Okay, awesome, Saber. I think we're taking 2 questions from each of the core team to see how much time we've got today. So I'll ask Saber another one from Dexter. And marketing is a central element to every project. That's everyone knows the potential that a project can bring is vital to achieving the goals set. What's your strategy for attracting new users and investors to your platform and keeping them long term?
Again, as mentioned, just increasing visibility really. This time we have utility to push out. So it's like any business. You want to make sure that your business is in the right the areas, depending on, I guess, who you're trying to bring towards that business. So with us, obviously, there's YouTube as well, for example, is one area that again we were heavily involved with. But when we marketed first time round, a lot of that was just based around hype, to be honest, right? To be frank. So it was a if you like, what we did was kind of like a media blackout of sorts that hadn't really been seen before and executed in such a fashion. So again, obviously that creates a lot of hype because we talk about basic I've spoken about it before, but basic psychological cues. When we speak about front of mind marketing, it's something that you want people to remember us, and you want to have, of course, brand trust, which is what we do have due to our partnerships with the sports teams, etc. This time, though, it's easier because now we have something to, truly put out there. I.e., like for example, Flokify. We want people to understand why Flokify is so important in this space. I mean, how many rug pulls have you been involved in, WC? You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it's happening as we speak. So we have to give an understanding of why that's important and what Flokify brings. So it's literally just a case of utilizing influencers, utilizing blogs, making life easier when it comes to finding us on the search engines. Our website is far more advanced than it was first time round. I'll tell you what, our website, to tell you the truth, we have to be frank here, our website first time round could have been designed by a 15-year-old. Now it's actually been executed by those that know what they're doing, and it's been brilliantly executed. It's kept updated day to day. For goodness sake, we had the Spanish government have a look at our website, to be honest with you, right, when it came to our Kings League partnership. So we have to make sure we comply with some, we're like Floki is no joke. I know we often make, we like to have our cues and, how cool Floki is and all this kind of stuff. Floki is really damn cool, but actually Floki is a grown-up, I guess it's a grown-up Doge, to be honest with you. If you really want to break it down, we are running as a successful business at this point that is executing on things that are extremely exciting. We have some brilliant minds involved. I think people forget quickly, but as we move forward, I think people are going to realize that, they'll be reminded. But the marketing obviously helps, and I'm not going to give too much away, but let's just say round 2 is going to be easier.
Okay, awesome, Saber. Thanks for the answers to the community questions, and let's move on to B. I don't think he'll be speaking today, so I've got the answers down in front of me here. So one of the questions from Scotty Limpin was, where is UOF in terms of development? Could Vikings potentially earn a cap and gown for Valhalla? And the answer from B was, our devs are currently finalising the front end and the back end development of the UOF platform. While I can't share the link to the platform publicly right now, I can assure you that a lot of work has gone into this, and it's looking really good from the UI UX perspective. And as to whether Vikings can potentially earn a cap and gown for Valhalla, I would leave that for our Valhalla lead, Mr. Brown, to answer. So we can jump maybe back to Mr. Brown if you've got maybe an answer around the cap and gown for Valhalla.
I must say that me not being an English native speaker, not really understanding what a cap and gown is. Is it just like a pretty penny, or?
Like when you go to university, you get your cap and gown.
Oh, like literally.
Like
I was
that.
thinking like, oh, perhaps it's a saying or something in English. So yeah, that is indeed a good. So basically, the question is if your achievements outside of Valhalla can be represented inside of Valhalla with, well, let's say, clothes, equipment, or just in general NFTs? And the answer on that is yes.
Awesome, Mr. Brown. We've done the debit card one, so I won't go through that one again. So another question from Black Rose was, the post emphasizes the security aspect of the upgrade with CertiK conducting audits of the enhanced protocol. Can you provide more details about the security measures being taken and how these audits ensure the reliability and safety of the Flokify locker, is what we're discussing here. And he said that was a good question. And the security is something we take very seriously, which is why we make sure to extensively audit any protocol app before we release it to the public. The upgraded Flokify locker contracts have been forwarded to CertiK for review over a month ago, so that's great for the security. And they've made several changes to the protocol to make it even more secure based on direct feedback from CertiK. And in terms of our approach to security, we have a Q&A team consisting of about half a dozen people, including devs, that battle test and review every protocol and every major change before we send it to our auditors. And that's CertiK, again, the number one gold certified audit company, which most projects should be using, in my opinion. And that's been sent over for review. And after this, the lead dev, Jackie, he does a final review and an entry point analysis to make sure everything is perfect. And he also said sometimes the whole process takes months before we find bugs and fix them. And then they look for more bugs and fix them again, etc. So we take security very seriously. I would maybe follow up with the, maybe you can answer in a shared chat. If you are looking to offer any bounties in the future, or is it open source, or is it not open source, so other devs couldn't look at the contracts to maybe fix bugs in the future, or would it be open source in the future? But I'm not sure about that. Let's move on to one more from B, and then we can move to Mr. Brown and have a discussion about Valhalla. I think the questions mainly will be. So B was asked by Amy, could you provide an in-depth explanation of the recent collaborations between Floki and OpBnB? OpBnB just launched the other day, if anyone didn't know. So super exciting for the BNB chain. It includes the significance of integrating the Flokify locker protocol onto the OpBnB testnet. Anyone that has followed Floki, B saying here, closely recently know that we have a strong and deep partnership with Binance and are very bullish on their ecosystem. The OpBnB is Binance's latest blockchain that's built on the OP stack, which is both cheaper and a lot more scalable compared to the BNB chain. I didn't know about this, so I'm going to have to look into it myself, but let's carry on for the community. We're working with the BNB chain team to integrate in our key products on the chain. This includes Flokify Locker, Project TL, and several other products, should I say, we intend to launch in the future. And B also said, we're working on making the Flockify locker protocol the main locker protocol in BNB, and we're working in collaboration with the BNB chain team to launch the protocol on BNB. They're live on BNB testnet, which is great, and they're already and should go live on mainnet pretty soon. And this strengthens the Flockify locker's position in the market and moves us closer to our goal of being the most used locker in the space. Sounds awesome news. Thanks for the responses there, Mr. B. So let's move on to a couple of questions for Mr. Brown. So we've got one here from Crypto Detective. Hi. With Mr. Brown having already pointed out the potential downside of having downloads in a desktop version of the game from a security standpoint, could the team see a potential in the future to leverage the cloud as a means to increase GPU compute power? Sounds a great question, Mr. Brown.
Hey, Glenn. Yeah, definitely a good question. I don't know how in depth I should go with this, with answering this question. I don't know how many Vikings that play Valhalla are in this AMA. If I can see them some thumbs up, then yeah, I'll know how in depth I can go. But first of all, really good question, because there are some exploits I talked about regarding downloading these applications on your desktop or on your laptop or whatever device. Yeah, basically it's an easy way for. Unfortunately, that's still what crypto is, right? Scammers have an basically easy way for people that you don't want to have access to your computer or to your device to gain access to your device because you're actually downloading something, yeah, from a third party. That's also why we, with Valhalla, opted for a WebGL build, a web build, totally web. You don't need to download anything on your hard drive. It all goes through the browser and you can play it. We had some trade-offs there. Obviously, we're not having GTA-like graphics, but it's still a lot of fun. But that was a strategic trade-off that we did. We want to make sure that while in our testing phase, we will never want to be responsible for our downloads being exploited, or downloads getting corrupt, and perhaps people getting scammed, people using different sites to pose as Valhalla and letting people download stuff that they say, hey, you can test it through this download, and then suddenly whole Floki account gets wiped. No, that's not something we want to have. Well, that was the downside of having downloads, which a lot of these um, other Web3 projects do, or also Web2 projects for that matter. Um, Now to the second part, or the actual question, could the CC have potential in the future to leverage the cloud as a means to increase GPU compute power? Um, I I assume that comes from the um, the desire to, well, have a better looking Valhalla, right? Because you want to not get those resources from your computer or even from downloading it, but from the cloud. And there have been some interesting developments on that front. One of the competitors, the other side, a lot of people know that, I think. They are a pretty big player in this scene, pioneering the same space that we are, that are streaming these. So like Google Stadia, I don't know if you heard of it, but they shut down in the past because they did this exact same thing. They streamed basically the whole game to your computer, so you didn't download anything. Instead, the game ran on servers, and then through 5G or super speed internet, it would come to your PC, and your PC didn't even need to have a good GPU, because you are basically, it's like watching YouTube but you're playing, right? So it you feel like it's a game. The problem there is right now, and hopefully in the future, in the near future, there'll be a solution to this bottleneck. The streaming costs, the cost of streaming this, and having that server online, and giving you the triple A or even the double A experience that you need to experience it flawlessly, is crazy high. So while some of these competitors of ours, which I applaud, I want them to keep pioneering, because when there is actually a good viable solution that's long term, that then yeah, we'll obviously take advantage of it. But at this point, it's just not viable. It costs a lot of money per user, and if you're looking at the type of adoption that we are aiming for with Valhalla, yeah, that's just a no-no. But in the future, yes, definitely, we're keeping our eyes open for it. If we can keep things on web, we will definitely try to do it, because we don't want people to be exploited through downloads. So yeah, a pretty long answer, but I saw a lot of thumbs ups. So I assume there are a lot of Vikings Valhalla players in here. I hope it makes sense.
Definitely, Mr. Brown. Yeah, some pros and cons there. So yeah, let's jump to another question for Mr. Brown. Communication with in games like text chat, etc., are a key element of successful gaming, like in Minecraft, Fortnite, Ark Survival Evolved, to create is there to create new friendships and teamwork. What is your view on applying this to Floki Valhalla in the future?
Yeah, this is a major part, to be honest. So the way Jackie and myself got to know each other better was through gaming. So I know for a fact that gaming is a universal way to transcend borders, basically, because you're enjoying a social activity, not just on your own but with others. Obviously, there are a lot of fun, great solo games. So I don't want to stab at those. They're definitely a lot of fun. I'm actually having a lot of fun playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now, solo in my free time, to learn from Valhalla, but also have fun. But the greatest games, the biggest time sinks I had were with social games where I played with other people, and communication is very, very important. So the last patch we already put in some form of communication that's called emojis and emotes, where people can already kind of communicate with each other. We've thought about actually adding text, but that would require us to have some full-time moderators on service, on duty, to make sure that no stuff gets through the chat. Um, there are some workarounds, and we're heavily exploring those, and they might come soon. You might be able to see what we've been thinking about soon, because we've also been learning and looking at other let's say mobile games, but also primarily mobile games, how they handle this kind of stuff, because they don't have full-time moderators in service, and still are able to make sure that the chat remains a healthy, non-toxic place for people to enjoy, but still be able to communicate with each other. Also, a big part of this will be clans. Not of what I just said, of the solution that we're dropping soon or experimenting with, but clans will be also a very, very huge social mechanic within this game, that ties into, I think, this question, because a huge part of Minecraft, Fortnite, Ark Survival Evolved, but also League of Legends, depends on new friendships and teamwork. And clans is basically the thing that will, I hope, enhance that specific part of your Valhalla journey. Um, our clans will be, I think, really, really, I'm preaching to the choir here, but really a lot of fun. And I also, as one of the leads behind Valhalla, am enjoying quite a lot to see one of the, or a few of the main clans. We don't even imagine that. We don't even have a clan infrastructure in the game, but we already have clans going out, spreading the word on socials. So shout out, you know who you are. Great job. Keep on doing it. That's it.
Okay, great, Mr. Brown. And I was wondering as well, you've got this patch for Valhalla coming up this week. Is there any snippets you can tell us about the upcoming patch?
You want me to leak, right? You heard it, Glenn, that I was the premier leaker of this team. I can leak you something. In a few hours, you don't even need to ask for a leak for this patch, because it will be out. And I can tell you that a lot of people are going to be surprised about the severity or the magnitude of this patch.
Awesome, Mr. Brown. So the servers are going to be under stress in the next few hours, get jumping in the game, and where after we've finished our discussion today, because it's coming very, very soon for a nice Thursday
Yeah,
night.
definitely, Glenn. And I'm wondering if you have you are you a gamer, or are you more like I love to see it from the sidelines or look at it from the sidelines, but not really a gamer myself.
Old school. You just mentioned Baldur's Gate 3 there. I remember the original and the second. So you got me really excited when you mentioned Baldur's Gate there. And then I have watched some of the Valhalla. I'll have to jump into that sometime. But I'm sort of too busy in crypto to game anymore. But yeah, I enjoyed that in my youth, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to if you get the hang of it, because I know everybody that has played it was pleasantly surprised about how fun it was, and I cannot wait to see you perhaps having your own clan, and that clan working together, and perhaps earning a pretty penny, or a cap and gown, as I heard today.
Awesome. Thanks for the answers to the questions there, Mr. Brown. And you heard it here first. It's coming tonight, so get your bottle of beer and get logged into Valhalla. But let's jump to Linton. We've got some questions here for Linton. We've got a question from Oxzet. He was asking, you say community is the heart and soul of Floki. How can the community contribute to Floki progress? Do you have a governance model? Are there any ambassadors or bug bounties or contests we can help with to enable further adoption?
Well, thank you. Very, very interesting question. Well, yes, community is the heart and soul of Floki, and I used to say that almost every week, like when I host the spaces session, and anytime I'm speaking, that you could have the best technology if you don't have people to use them and people to sort of act as advocates for those projects and to spread that those products, then you're not going to have any adoption. So the community, people are at the center of every single thing that we have done within this project. And I'm happy that a member of the community is now asking this question about how can I contribute? How can I be part of the community, so to speak, is what I'm hearing from this question. Well, there are several ways. There are several ways that we can be part of, that you can contribute to Floki. The easiest thing you can do, of course, is to be active in our channels, is to be active within our Telegram group, to be active on Twitter, to be active on Twitch with us. We host Twitch sessions every Monday and Fridays. We have Twitter Spaces here every Friday, 5 p.m. UTC, every Wednesday, 5 p.m. UTC, which is going to Valhalla Spaces, hosted by Cobra Kai. We have the whale watching session at 5 p.m. UTC, hosted by myself every Friday. We also have on Saturdays as well, Cobra Kai comes back and shares does a roundup of everything, everything that's happened in Floki during the course of the week. So you can contribute, you can be part of the community when you join all of these sessions and participate and ask questions and contribute to the conversation. And that's the least that we can all do, right? The second way by which you can contribute to the community and the success of the project as a whole, of course, is by reading with us. We have a reading culture, right? Which basically means we're spreading the word, but in a coordinated manner, right? So we come on Twitter. We have some of our mods and some of our team members who come on Telegram, who sort of they sort of lead us on some of these raids and ask us to share the word. Sometimes it's on Twitter, sometimes it's on other platforms as well. You can join us by reading with us. I'm sure Vikings will know what I'm talking about. So that's another very little way of that's a very small contribution that you can add to the community, but that has ripple effect and multiply effect on the overall success of the project. Now, let me move to the next part of the question, because I had something around governance model and the like. So which is part of the ways by which members of the community can also contribute. We are a DAO. And I want to really emphasize in answering this question that Floki is a DAO. Floki is not just some project somewhere, by some random dev which that just wants to take the shine and that wants to take all the glory. No, we are actually a DAO, so which means that's a community-based project. And one of the least ways of exercising your right, because by us being a DAO, we do have rights, as members of the communities, and we have responsibilities as well as community members. And one of those ways of discharging our own responsibility is by participating in the DAO votes. So far, since we became a DAO, we have launched about 7 different votes. So there's been 7 issues that we as a community have decided together. I mean, the time is not on my side today. I would have taken you through that journey from the very first time when we voted, about certain excess tokens, up onto the last time where we recently voted, just about 6 months ago, when we voted about the Turkey earthquake support fund that we put together. We were trying to decide there, whether we should launch the NFTs on the BSC side or on the each chain, and of course, the vote was won by the each chain by 75 to 24%, right? So one of the key ways of contributing in this community is by participating in those DAO votes. So we've had 7 of them. We have more DAO votes that are coming. In fact, there is a very, very important DAO vote that is coming, and that vote is going to be fundamental. So this is going to be pivotal, I should say, to the next phase of this project. I'm going to repeat myself. There is a DAO vote that will be coming very soon, and that vote is going to be pivotal. It's going to lead us to the next phase that we're about to see within this project. So this is my request to everybody listening, all members of the community listening to us right now. Watch out for that vote and participate, right? So for now, that is a governance model that we have at the moment, but very soon in the near future, don't forget that when we announced to become a DAO, it was supposed to be a gradual transition to become a full DAO, right? So what we have right now are just votes about key issues that are at the moment maybe raised or proposed. Let me put it that way. The proposals at the moment are raised by the core team members, right? However, of course, those proposals before they can be raised, of course, it will be because there's been a demand from the community in an informal way, and then the core team members then listen to those informal requests and then proposes a formal vote at the moment. But very soon in the near future, when we transition to become a full DAO, we would have a full system of voting and a full governance model where members of the community would be able to raise proposals and delegate votes and the likes. But for now, we do have a system in place that allows us vote on critical issues that affect the project, and we've had 7 of them, as I said. So those are the quick ways, and of course, I'm going to talk about the final one, and I'm going to keep quiet. I know this is becoming a long response to a very simple question. The final method that I will talk about, the final approach by which you can contribute here, is by using our products. We're a DAO, but then we also have a product. We may be a meme, but this is a project that is based on utility. So we have Valhalla, which Mr. B has done a good job, answering some of the questions, Valhalla question just a moment ago there. So we do have, the Valhalla, active on testnet at the moment. So anyone can, easily, get into the game and play. So if you claim to be a member of the community, then one of the things you can do is to play the game and become an advocate of the game, right? To play the games, become an advocate of the game. When we hit mainnet, be the one to spread the word, and also try as much as possible to also make sure that you play the game. We also have Flokify Locker as well. If you are in other projects or you have certain digital assets, certain tokens that you want to lock up, you want to keep for a very long time, why not use a product that is built by your favorite community, Floki, right? So we have the Flokify Locker that can be used right now. That is not even on testnet, that is on mainnet right now. You can use that. You can lock up your NFTs, you can lock up your ERC20 tokens, you can lock up, as many tokens as you want for as long as you want. So why not become? It's like supporting a football club and not buying a jersey, right? One of the ways of showing your affiliation and your loyalty to your club is by buying the merchandise. We also have a merch store, right? Go there, go on that platform, buy the merch, buy the merch that we have. You know, they are right. So there's just a number of ways. There's so many ways by which you can contribute as a member of the community. If I keep talking, I think I'm going to just run out. I'm going to just take the entire time. So I have to keep quiet now. And these are the few ways that I can quickly, with the few times that I have, talk about how you can actually become a proud member of this community.
Okay, great, Linton. And another one for Linton, we had Astro Pixel. The build for schools that Floki is doing in Nigeria, is there any chance for build more schools in other countries? And will Floki University be part of these schools in the future?
Very, very good question. We've not just built a school in Nigeria, we've built a school in Ghana, Guatemala, Laos as well, right? So and guys, don't forget, and I understand that we have new members of the community now who might have forgotten what led us to building schools and what promise we made. When we made that announcement over a year ago, right? I mean, almost 2 years now, 2 years ago, when we make when that announcement was made, it was clear that Floki will be building a school in every developing country, right? So, and there's a lot of them. So we have not given up on that dream, right? That's a big picture that we have. This is an initiative that should be done by governments or that should be done by large donors, but that we as a DAO are taking it upon ourselves to educate the next generation. So no, we will still be building more schools, not just in Nigeria, but in other countries as well. Now, to come to Floki University, University of Floki is education arm, is the education arm of this project, and it is currently being built at the moment. Now, in the near future, there are possibilities, there are potential ways to find a way to sort of leverage what we're doing on the ground in those countries and connect them and to University of Floki. And that could happen, that would most likely happen in the form of we exposing the content that we have on the University of Floki to the schools that we are building, to the students that are studying within the schools that we are building, right? So, but the simple answer to that question is yes, we will be building more schools across the world in developing countries. Very soon you'll hear more about them as we finalize some of the conversations that are going in that direction. And for University of Floki, yes, in the near future, there will be potential synergies between the schools on the ground, right, the students learning on the ground, and then being able to have access to the content that we would have on University of Floki. However, please don't ask me when that would happen, because of course the platform itself, as B said earlier in his last response, is currently being built, and it's a very beautiful platform, guys. I mean, it's quite, of course, it's being improved every day. The designs are going on. The designers and some of our testers are currently, going back and forth on to be able to ensure that we actually arrive at something that is user friendly and very intuitive for all the users that will be using this across the globe. But don't ask me about when the integration between University of Floki and the schools on the ground is going to happen at the moment, because we don't have a direct, clear-cut answer to that, because that has to do with that. There are lots of logistics in that. You have to talk to the management of the schools on the ground. You have to, in some cases, some of those schools are actually government-run institutions. Like sometimes there are permissions that must be sought. In some cases, from ministries of education and the likes. But all of those conversations will happen, and when it is time, we would make an announcement and we would tell you exactly what the nature of that integration would be. But that's what we have at the moment, and that's a very good question from Astro.
Okay, great, Lynn. And just a follow-on question from myself, actually. I mean, it's great you're building these schools in developing countries. I'm wondering if Floki has any influence on the curriculums of the schools, if they could incorporate crypto industry into the schools, which is going to be great because, as we know, crypto will be mainstream and there'll be lots of jobs created and remote jobs as well, which I think sort of levels the playing field for these developing countries in the future, where they can have good salaries and finances and be involved in the crypto industry in the future. Is there any sort of plans in that area?
Very good question. Very good question, Glenn. Yeah. Well, yes, We have had. I mean, I'm going to just say this here, and I hope I don't. I hope I'm not breaking any confidentiality agreement. I don't think I am. That yes, we have, because I'm not going to tell you about. I'm not going to tell you specifically which country this is and whatnot, so we don't get into trouble with anyone. But yes, there's been conversations in the past about not necessarily altering curriculums, because that could end up being a white elephant project, because we maybe may not be able to have such influences in government, as you do need government permission to be able to alter curriculum entirely and add crypto to it. But we've had conversations around having crypto clubs, right? Clubs within some of these schools where we have somebody, a tutor, just exposing these young chaps to the future of the blockchain technology. What does currency look like in the next 30 years? What are the things? Of course, I'm not saying currency is going anywhere. That's a fairy tale. But I'm just saying that generally, what is cryptocurrency? This what differences exist between fiat and what we have in the blockchain space at the moment. So we've had conversations in the past around having that kind of club, right, that you would have. I don't know, in some of the countries that we've launched schools in and that we're planning to at the moment, sometimes on Fridays, there's usually like a 1 hour to 90 minutes block where the students are free to associate with a particular club, depending on what their interest is. So, for instance, if you're interested in football, you have a coach come coach you, you play around on the school field. If your interest is, let's say, computer science, you would have a coding class, like a coding club, where you have someone, an expert comes, from the industry to sort of coach the students on, simple lines of code and whatnot, and expose them to what is possible in the tech space, right? So it's those kind of clubs and I think that's the lowest hanging fruit for us to begin to infiltrate that space, because having a conversation about changing the entire curriculum, I mean, even those in the advanced countries haven't changed their curriculum, right? You go to high school in the UK or in the US, you don't learn cryptocurrency. You don't even learn about money, let alone cryptocurrency, right? So let alone developing countries and getting their government to start having blockchain technology in their curriculum. That's a white elephant project. But can we start by gathering 50 young students in a room and just teaching them for like 5 weeks, through a club system about what the space is all about? Yes, that's what we can do, right? And then taking those 50 students and exposing them to University of Floki content, right? Giving them perhaps free access to that platform where they can easily learn and experiment, and they have a tutor somewhere based in a country that is far away from them. I think if we can do that, I think we can inspire the next generation. Then they go back to class and begin to ask the right questions, because they've been exposed to superior content. So that's the kind of thinking that we're having, and not necessarily trying to change the entire curriculum. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, through clubs or curriculum, it was just an idea, an extended sort of thing about it. But that's great what Floki is doing with the Build for Schools around the world for children. And yeah, hats off to the team coming up with that. And the Floki University, I know that's expanding on the roadmap in the future. So that's an exciting area. And, you're giving back in the real world, which is amazing. So, yeah, I think that's 2 questions we've got in for Linton. Thanks very much for the answers, Linton, for the community. Let's move to Jackie. We've got sustainability is one of the most important things to consider in making play-to-earn games. A lot are struggling to sustain and balance the earnings of players. What are the things that the Floki team consider to provide the most sustainable and balanced play-to-earn game? And that's for Jackie from xFloki21.
Hey, that's a great question. First and foremost, about sustainability. It was from xFloki21. Yeah, thank you very much. Because as we go forward and as we get closer to the mainnet release, this becomes more and more important, which is also why we're spending so much time thinking about this and calculating like how these mechanisms work. Because to make sure it is sustainable at all, you have to first ensure that the thing will not spiral down to zero for some reason, which means that you have to balance the flow of funds that go in with the flow of funds that go out. And that means you have to be very aware of how many flows there are, like people that are just playing the game and want to earn something, whether it's earning something via tokens that are non-fungible, the NFTs, or earning something in the form of perhaps Floki, or different people that are inputting funds, which could be one Floki itself, two different partners, three something else. All these things have to be balanced out and properly integrated with each other to ensure that there's a long-term future available for the game. And it's hard to give a final answer to this because, well, it's not live yet, and it has to sustain the sort of, let's say, real attacks of the real world when it actually arrives on the mainnet. But at least be assured that we do our utmost best to make sure that the simulations that we do run on how these types of mechanisms should be balanced are done properly. Hope that helps.
Okay, great, Jackie. And we've got one from Part-Time Owl. They've been playing Valhalla for a while now, and their question is how the game will work on the main net in terms of tokenomics. As of now, it's quite expensive for the high gas fees, and how will it work when it goes over to the main net?
The question regarding gas fees is a very good one because, well, one, because we already talked about sustainability, and having high gas fees would definitely not be sustainable. So one thing is, so there are multiple things we can do. One is look at the absolute gas price, which is the price you're paying in gas units, not the price you're paying in, let's say, dollars, and lowering that price, which means optimizing on the blockchain itself, which is what we're doing continuously. But the second thing, and that's the one that has the most impact, is picking a network, which in this case means a blockchain, that does not have such a high value native token to require you to pay such high gas fees. Because even if the absolute gas value would be low, if the token you're using to pay that low gas value with is super expensive, then nonetheless you would be paying high gas fees. So those are two factors that we look at rigorously amongst all the current, well, all is perhaps a bit of a big word, but amongst the many, many chains that we have in contention, we look at these two things to ensure that when Valhalla goes to mainnet, the gas fees will be appropriate for such a game.
Okay, great. Thanks for the answers, Jackie, and all the core team today. That's the questions I've got from the community that were said in advance. I think we're going to take some random questions as well. I don't know if the core team's ready. I'll open up to a few questions from the community today.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
I've lost the page, 1 second. Oh. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Let's see, we've got Crad. I'll bring Crad up. Okay, Crad, you had a question for the core team. Go ahead. I think you're still just loading up there. 1 second, let's see if it connects. Crad might have connection problems. Let's move to Hazel. Let's add you as speaker. Hazel's coming up now. You had a question for the core team, Hazel? Go ahead. They're both just spinning around trying to connect. I'm wondering if it's a problem at my end or... Oh, we've got Hazel up. Hazel, go ahead with your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
And yeah.
Okay, my question is what is your plan to ensure sufficient liquidity on exchanges to fill market orders, especially increases and clients begin multiplying year over year? Thank you.
Okay, I don't know if one of the core team got that question.
Feels like a question that might have been relevant about 2 years ago, to be honest.
Actually, yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now, Floki is listed on several, I believe over 100 exchanges right now. So I believe, so when you say liquidity on those exchanges, do you want to elaborate? Do you mean that those exchanges running out of tokens completely to be able to sell to members, or how exactly?
I think we've lost Hazel. Let's move on. We've got James here. James, you had a question for the core team? Go ahead. James is connecting. Oh, yeah, you're up as speaker now, James. Go ahead. Are you there, James? Who else have we got? Oh. Well, James is up as a speaker. Let's see. Not doing very well with
hello,
questions.
can you hear me?
We can, yeah. Go ahead, James.
Okay, thank you. So I have a question. I just wanted to know that, as you know, guys, we are currently in bear market. So as the current market situation, people are afraid to be invest. So can you please tell us, in this market situation, what kind of marketing strategy have you implement to get more user trust? And do you have any plan to add more new services and product in this year? If yes, what are they and how will you contribute it?
That may have been a few questions in one. The first part of that question, though, was a massive. Did you ask how are we looking to gain trust? Was that sorry? Could you repeat the first part?
Okay, as you know that we are currently in bear market. As the current market situation, people are afraid to invest. So in this market situation, what kind of marketing strategy have you implement to get more user trust?
I think by being transparent as we are, by having these kind of spaces during a bear market, during red days, this team doesn't shy away from any situation, as we've proven before. I don't think we need to gain anyone's trust anymore if you know of our story. So as far as the marketing goes, I mean, look, much of the same in terms of gaining trust. I think we were certainly one of the first to implement such strong tactics when it came to marketing in sports and with sport teams. And obviously the reason for that is because of, with sports teams, there's brand loyalty, there's a lot of emotions, and it's tribal, basically, which is very much like our community, Viking-like. So we're very emotional. We're very mentally strong, and we want to connect with our audience, with our people and future investors, of course. So I don't think we need to try and gain any more trust. I think the fact that we're still here and saved the project on multiple occasions and moved forward with that when people were trying to wreck us, and we've come through the worst storms, says it all, really. But as far as the brand goes, we are obviously we're the envy of the crypto space as far as our marketing goes and our brand strength, and we're going to execute on our strongest partnerships in 24, moving into 25. So we're all about timing. We've said this before, and we've proven it many, many times. So yeah, we look forward to constantly driving forward. And our our drive is just based on being relentless, to tell you the truth. We're going to be as engaging as possible, as we are anyway. And we have to keep finding ways to excite, our existing holders, to tell you the truth, and potential, new holders. So this requires being open-minded, and obviously a huge amount of research and business acumen, to be honest, and just lots of energy. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, thank you. And I have one more question. Can I ask?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Do you have any plan to add more new services and product in this year? If yes, what are they and how will you contribute it?
Yeah, I can take that one real quick. So we do have plans. If you check our roadmap, you will see some of those services, as you call them, or products that we have. We already have our Flokify Locker, of course. I believe you're aware of that. Of course, that we are also adding new features to that. That the upgraded version of that is going to be launched very soon. The audit is currently being finalized. In addition to that as well, we also have a redesign. That platform, the Flokify platform itself, is being redesigned right now, and that will be launched in the coming weeks as well. In addition to that, we have Project TL. Project TL is just a code. TL is just a code name. If you've been following us from the beginning, you would realize that Valhalla, for example, Valhalla was called Project X right at the beginning, and then eventually the name Valhalla was revealed, and all the features of Valhalla were then disclosed. And then the Flokify Locker was initially codenamed Project L as well, right? And then that was eventually released, and the features were also disclosed. So right now, in the same fashion, right, there's a history, there's a tradition there. So in the same tradition, we have Project TL that will be, the full features of that will be disclosed and revealed very soon. So you can look out for that as well. We have University of Floki, which is going to be our crypto education platform, where people will be able to take courses on several aspects of crypto, of the blockchain technology generally, from security to DeFi courses and all sort of micro courses as well. So we have that coming as well. We also have a mystery product that we haven't disclosed yet anywhere. That would also come as well. Very soon. We will disclose that as well. But what I would encourage you to do, thank you very much, our host, who has just pinned our full roadmap on these spaces. So you can go through that and you will see all of the things, all of the products that we have coming out very soon. Of course, you have to look out for Valhalla as well, right? Valhalla is still on testnet at the moment. We are approaching mainnet in a couple of months from now. So that's something that, even though has been announced, but that's something that we are also anticipating any moment from the end of the year. All right. So I hope I answered some of your questions, James.
Yeah. Thank you.
The pleasure is ours.
Okay, thank you for the question, James. Let's see, we've got Tokyo. Tokyo, you had a question for the core team. Go ahead. Let's just connect him, but let's see if you connect shortly. Still connecting. Oh, we've got you up as speaker, Tokyo. Go ahead with your question. Are you there, Tokyo?
Yeah, hello. All right. My question is to L intern anyways. I wanted to know how far has the development been in Africa, because I saw you built a school in Nigeria. And do you have an ambassadors program? I'm sorry, this is my Bonner account.
All right, no worries at all. Tokyo, okay. Well, so you asked about development in Africa. Is that the question? And
Yeah,
and then if you have
I was
so
really
developments
surprised that.
from yeah. So we do have a school in Nigeria and Ghana. So which are two key countries in Africa, West Africa to be precise. And the schools were built. I think the Ghanaian one was built it was completed a couple of months back, and then the Nigerian one is about a year old, more than a year old as we speak at the moment. So in terms of development, well, I don't know much to say about those two countries, but all I know is that generally speaking, Africa, education sometimes you have the government plays a key role. It's supposed to play a key role, right? But maybe that is lacking. As at the time that we built the school in Nigeria and Ghana, for example, those schools were at a very terrible state. We did post pictures of the before of those schools on Twitter. Maybe if I always can find that tweet, they can help us put it up. The schools were in shambles. When it rains, the roofs keep leaking every time. The students, in fact, the students hated going to schools, right? That we interviewed some of the students, and they said that that they hated going to schools because when it rains, they have to suffer for it. And an entire school had just about maybe 2 or 3 buildings standing in a very terrible condition. So that was what prompted this idea that how about we create a conducive learning environment for this amazing generation that are growing up, and then we went and then we built a state-of-the-art school. I can bet that the school we built in Nigeria, for example, some of you who are listening to me from the advanced countries probably learn in similar conditions at the moment. It's fitted with computer labs, with actual computers, and with a library and so many amenities. We even have a playground. Like we have a playground there for the children. We have a water system, and that water system in that school at the moment is perhaps is one of the few, let me not say the only, but it's one of the only sources of clean water within the entire community. Right, and the video is up there. Maybe we can get that video also pinned up as well. Yeah, the video is now pinned up right on our spaces right now, guys. Please take a look at that video, and you would see. This brings me close to tears. I don't even want to keep answering this question because it gets me emotional when I try to relive the experience. And I flew down there myself, and this is not. I have to say that as well. I went there myself and I saw this, and I spoke to some of those students, some of those children, and I was brought to tears. And members of the core, not just me, members of the core as well, experienced that live as well, and we were just moved to tears seeing all of that. And that is why we want to continue to do this, right? This is not just all about going to the bone and whatnot. That's why we want to go to more developing countries and do what the government is supposed to be doing and change people's life and educate the next generation. I just have to stop it because I'm getting emotional already. But I'm going to answer a question about ambassador program and whatnot. We do not have a specific dedicated ambassador program specifically for Africa at the moment. What we do have are community groups. So we have a Nigerian group, we have a Chinese group, we have several groups on Telegram for different countries, Indian groups and Turkish group, and we are all active in those groups. So we encourage people from different nationalities to pop into those groups and contribute. In those groups, actually, you can talk in your local language. You can meet people from Nigeria, from Ghana, in all of those groups, or from China, if you're from China, from Turkey. You can meet people from all over there and connect. And you guys can perhaps organize something at that level, that would actually promote the Floki brand. And if you need any support from the main, from the core team, you can reach out and we will see how those supports can be done. So, but at the moment, we don't have an ambassadorship program per se. I think we used to say that we are all Floki, like I am Floki. There was time we ran that campaign, right? So every single person is an ambassador in this project, but we don't have a separate, dedicated, like an ambassador program going on where we have, separately. But you are an ambassador of Floki, and you can. And I started this session. I mean, when I answered a few questions about how you can actually be an ambassador, like how you can be a member of the community and how you can contribute. And we encourage everyone to participate along those lines. Did I answer those questions, or there's a different angle you want?
Yeah, thanks to the core team for the efforts they put in Nigeria, and sorry to anyone that was expecting to hear some Chinese.
All right, yeah, thank you. We do have a Chinese community listening, and shout out to all our Chinese community listening as well. And I believe we do have a translator because we're speaking in English, but most would prefer to be spoken to in Mandarin. And I believe we do have a translator who should be interpreting this to them. That's my understanding. And so please help communicate our love and respect to our Chinese community right now. And we do have a lot planned for China amongst all the ones that we've done before. I've got to keep quiet now and take other questions.
Okay, thanks for the question, Tokyo. Let's move to Bullish. You have a question for the core team. You just connect in there. Let's see if you connect and go ahead with your question. Very slow in connecting today. Are you connected now, Bullish? Are you there? We can, yeah.
Okay. Regretting about the current market situation is too unstable, holding back investors. So, can you give us some good reason why should buy your token in market situation, and also why should your token holding keep?
Yeah, this isn't really a question we can actually answer today. The truth, we can't give financial advice, and we can't tell you why you should buy our token. You have to do your research.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see. We've got Jessica. You had a question for the core team. You just connect in now. Let's see if it connects. It seems very slow today. It usually connects very quickly, but we might have so many people on the spaces. There you go, Jessica. You connected. Go ahead with your question.
Hello, am I audible?
You are, yeah.
Thank you for unmuting me. My question is like, as you know that partnership is one of important thing if a project want grow and spread fast. So can you please tell me who are your partners? Thank you.
For the sake of not being here for another half an hour, I would say just go to Floki.com and have a look at. There's a section there, tab, that you'll see our previous partnerships, current partnerships.
Can I ask my second question?
I think there's quite a few hands up, but I'll leave that to our host actually.
Okay. I would like to know that on moving forward through your roadmap, what are your most important next priorities? Does your team have enough fundamental funds, community, etc. to achieve these milestones?
Well, okay, yeah. So we do have a roadmap pinned. Yeah, Steve, go ahead.
No. Sorry, go on. I was just going to say I think the structure of the question needs to be broken down a bit more so it's easier to answer. But if you get what she's asking, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think she's asking about our most pressing priorities, right? And I was going to just point out to the roadmap. Trust me, we've got big dreams and bigger dreams than what we have on this roadmap. But what you have on the roadmap today that is pinned on these spaces right now are immediate priorities. So, and in that order as well, as you can see, we've ticked off some of them even ahead of time, and we do have some that are also coming up. So you can take a look at it. You know, we have DeFi lending coming up. We have taken. I don't want to wait because we've spent quite some time on this. So I encourage you to just click on that tweet, and you would see our roadmap. Do we have enough resources? As you asked, you said, do we have enough resources and likes and what to build these things? The answer is yes, we do. And that's also part of the DAO votes that we did, a couple of months ago. That empowered us with more resources to be able to deliver all of these products. So yes, we have enough resources. If that means cash, yes. If that means team members, yes, we do have everything required to deliver this roadmap.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the questions, Jackie. Yeah, we've took quite a few questions and we've answered lots from the community that have been sending them in the last few days. And I think we've got a reveal from B as well for these spaces today. I'm not sure if he's typing it down or one of the core team will be conveying that from B today.
Oh, is this the leak by any chance?
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
Oh, okay. I think Mr. Brownwell Does our resident master leaker want to step up?
The king of leaks himself wants to get me to scream.
The leaky one.
The leaky one. The leaky
I think that
one.
should. What is your tag on? Hold on. What's your tag in?
Bro. Look, I
in
appreciate
Spaces?
the
Not Spaces,
leak.
isn't it?
The leak. Being the leak master, but being called the leaky one might have some. I don't know.
It's gonna trend, man. It's
Yeah.
trending. Come on, the leaky one. I think leaky one goes well. Listen, I was called the GOAT, and I didn't want that tag, so I think you should be called the leaky one.
All right. Then
Or the leak master. The leak master. B, do the honors. I think it should be the leak master.
Leak master I can wear with pride. That's okay. And we've got some leak today. I think this might be the one leak that is that is not only mine, but it's the whole team's to do. And it's especially especially a big leak, because we haven't done it before for our flagship project, which you all know, Valhalla. I can announce, I don't know if it's a leak anymore, if I can announce it, but I can tell you that something. Yeah, how do I put it, Saber? Like you're the king of announcements. Is this an announcement? Is this a leak? What? How do we frame this? I mean,
now you need a tutorial from Saber, Mr. B.
Yeah, he's putting it. Yeah, he's passing his job on to me. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, I get where Mr. Brown's coming from. It's definitely something that's it's for all of us. It's been a long time coming, essentially, it's a opportunity to really sexy up what we already know is sexy, but we are visual creatures, and we have started production for the Valhalla trailer, which will be a high-level production, which will be essentially designed by the team that did our advertising campaign, if you remember that. And this essentially gives us an opportunity to showcase Valhalla in a different light, to market Valhalla in a different light. Again, the timing being of being everything, essentially. Who knows? We may well even see Valhalla marketed on TV screens. Nothing is out of our reach, essentially. Nothing is impossible. So
imagination is our only like you've all seen with this team before. Yeah, the only limitation is the imagination, and I can't wait to see what this team is coming up with. This team that made the ads, the Floki ads for TV, and in combination with the people here from Valhalla, with the creative input from all sides, but also the rest of the team. This is going to be a beauty. So prepare. And the stuff that Saber is going to be able to swing with, I think that's going to be how do you call it? A banhammer. This will be a warhammer, basically.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. I think it's I want to say it's long overdue, but actually I think it's allowed yourselves, Valhalla team, to concentrate on making Valhalla perfect and making it something unique in this space. And it's something for us to, it's going to be something for us to be proud of and be able to showcase. So it's really cool. So the next question probably people will ask is when. So we are looking in the next, as far as completion of something of this level goes, up to about 4 to 5 months. Possibly a bit sooner. It's not going to be rushed, that's for sure. However, when we look to execute that is going to be a discussion that we will be having in-house, obviously. And again, the timing has to be right. And obviously, there's so many things Valhalla side that Mr. Brown can touch upon as we in the next few weeks, months, whatever, as and when. But obviously, Mr. Brown and Jackie are all systems go on that side. So and not only that, but let's also remind that our lead dev Jackie also has a few other devs that he essentially is overlooking, delegating to as well, because there is a few important things in the pipeline that's overdue, I would say. But this just serves as a reminder that there's not many projects I'd put the house on that have the kind of development going on in the background. I'd even call out top 30, to be honest. Make of that what you will. But yeah, it really is all systems go. And getting everyone together for this AMA was a mission. So again, thank you for everyone who's joined us, WCT, our host, and yeah, I don't know if we've got anything else or any other questions to raise, or if Mr. Brown wants to add anything, or Linton or Jackie.
Well,
but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and I'll hand it over to Jackie or Linton after, but I'll do a mini leak of my own, as in this was the huge leak, but I can just tell you that oh no, I'm going to incorporate you as well, Saber. You're not off the hook yet. You know, right? What kind of economy or how Floki? I gave you a hint of how Floki is going to be a factor in the, yeah, let's say the play to own, play to earn mechanics of Valhalla, and yeah, it's in my opinion.
We had some exciting discussions. I remember well.
Yeah, and I think it has not been done before. Perhaps it has been done because there are so many projects out there, and it might be that somebody will be doing it in the forthcoming future. But I think it's a pretty interesting and new approach to making a token the fuel to a game, basically. What do you think?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Obviously.
I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I love the name. I love the idea, the concept, and yeah, I can't wait to see it being executed. I just, I think when I think about these things that we have coming, it's so cliche in this industry, but remember these words in the next. I don't give too much of a time for it. Let's just say into next year, into when the world decides to start sorting itself out a little bit. But I think I speak for the team when I say, we told you so. I'll leave it at that.
I know what's left to say.
Okay, great, guys. It's been great co-hosting the Floki Spaces. It's always great with the core team. As I said earlier on, they always put 110% in for the rest of the team and the community. So it's always a pleasure talking to the Floki team. And yeah, that's what got me involved a long time ago. If you've got any questions after the Spaces, I'm sure you can head over to the socials, and some of the team can answer any questions. We had a lot of hands up today. Unfortunately, we couldn't get through them all. We got through loads of questions, and yeah, Floki's been knocking it out of the park in the bear market this year, building for that bull market. The bear market's when you can actually have that time and connect with the community and build. In a bull market, there's no time to do anything that's crazy. It's a great time to invest with Floki. That's a personal opinion. It's not financial advice, obviously. Yeah, so if you're interested, listening to Spaces, and you want to know more about Floki, if you're part of the community, if you've got any questions, head over to their Spaces. And yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for hosting, brother, and thank you for all who attended. Yeah, God bless.